I'd like to welcome you to BOI Meets Wellness, a podcast that discusses the complexities, celebrations, and challenges of building a wellness ritual as a BOI, a person who is born obviously incredible. You are now listening to BOI Meets Wellness with poet, motivational speaker, and wellness lover, Evolve Benton.
BOI, born obviously incredible, especially when you wear it pretty.
Happy Friday, BOI Meets Wellness community. First off, I want to thank you all for listening. A few of you most likely got an email from me a week ago about our upcoming episodes and exciting guests we will be welcoming to our community. Thank you all for your responses and feedback. If you would like to add yourself to our mailing list, please head over to boimeetswellness.com and subscribe. You can also follow us on Instagram at BOI Meets Wellness. That's BOIMeetsWellness, BOI Meets Wellness. Today's episode features my dear friend and filmmaker, Ineka Herring, aka Free. Free is a writer and director of queer media. They're half of the brilliant and dope media team we know as the Visual Monsters. What I really appreciate about Free is their ability to share vulnerability through topics, through film, and their ability to make Black folks just look amazing, y'all. I will drop their portfolio and the link to Visual Monster so you can check out some of their work. But they really have the ability to make our skin look amazing. This week's wellness tip is all about taking advantage of your free time. So what I'll be doing this summer is a lot of reading, and I thought maybe y'all can jump into some of that as also. So reading can take you to all sorts of worlds and dimensions in your imagination. There's really nothing like curling up and getting lost in a good book. You can head over to your local bookstore if it's open or online, purchase some type of self-help book or a book that empowers you and your experience. Here are some books I plan on reading this summer. I'll be sure to leave them in the show notes as well. You can find our show notes on boimeetswellness.com. Just click the tab New Episodes. The first book is The Alchemist. I usually read this once a year. It's always exciting for me. I love the journey of the alchemist and the way that he lives in uncertainty and takes on the adventure of life because you just never know what it's going to throw at you. The second book that I'll be reading is The Intimate Guide to Conquering Pain by B. Kelly. We actually interviewed B. Kelly on the podcast there on episode number 6. And I read this book earlier this year, but I'm really on this path of trying to figure out my foundation around self-love. And for some reason, B. Kelly might be able to speak to this. Shouts out to them. I feel like conquering pain might be one of those steps. So I will be reading that book also. So the wellness tip of this week is pick up a book, a magazine, an article, something to read in your free time to empower you and to build on whatever wellness practice you already have going on. Today's episode is brought to you by Mar Media Productions. Mar Media is a media production team that produces, publishes, and uplifts the stories, art, and journeys of queer and trans people of color and the people who make our lives incredible. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoy the interview. Hello, world. Welcome to BOI Meets Wellness. I'm extremely excited and thankful for today's interview with my boy Free from Visual Monsters. Free, welcome to BOI Meets Wellness. If you could just introduce yourself with your name, pronouns, and what brings you joy.
I'm Free. My pronouns are she, her. And what brings me joy is creation.
Nice. So Free, one thing that I really appreciate about you is that not only you're a creative, but I feel like you're a very intentional creative that explores the different realms of mental health, of wellness, of well-being. So during these COVID-19 times and shelter in place, what's been your wellness practice and what's kind of keeping you grounded right now? Are you able to stay grounded right now?
You know what? When everything first popped off, so my mother passed in January. And from there, I stayed there to close her estate. And then directly from there, COVID happened, drove cross country, got here, and entered into the lock-in place situation. So for a minute, it was rough, it was really rough. Like my anxiety was high. I thought I had COVID-19 like 1,000 times. I was convinced I was gonna die. I was shortness of breath, all of it. And then I just remembered to kind of go back to my routines, my practices, my things that I've learned throughout my healing, as far as meditation and yoga and exercise. Running is top for me. Running is like therapy. It just helps me sort through my thoughts. And I've gotten back to a place of, stability where I can continue to work and live because life is continuing. Just, COVID is just in my mind now. It's just another thing that could end it. So live now.
I appreciate you bringing that into the space, and sorry for your loss with your mother. I think what's been really powerful for me during this time, during COVID, is like I feel like the ancestors are so close right now, because we are losing, so many people, right? So they're here to pick up our folks. But I've been really feeling the mother grandmother energy. So thank you for calling your mom and bringing her into the space. So can you tell folks just a little bit about who are the people that make your life incredible? Because I consider you an incredible human being. Those are the only folks that are invited on my show. That's one of the number one priority, is that they be born obviously incredible. So who are the people in your life that make your life incredible? And what is your gratitude list? Like, you have people to thank.
Definitely number one would be my partner, Layla. She's just a beam of light and love, and she's just one of those people that you just can't believe that they're real. She's just amazing energy. And my mom, of course. And I have two friends that just keep me laughing. I have Chaos and I have my friend Lakeisha. And it's just this humor that I could just go relax and have humor. And I'm grateful for all of them. Just listening to my BS and helping me sort through it and just taking that on, and just being supportive and being there. Yeah, that would be my list. Layla, my mom, and my two friends back home.
I say, shouts out to those folks for keeping you here, keeping you secure, and keeping you creating these visual monster pieces. That's what we're going to call them today. Monster pieces. You could quote me on that. So when I first met you, Free, I was so amazed at how grounded and how I just felt like I remember I had like a treatment meeting with you about a video I was trying to do, and I was just like, dang, like Free is on the business, like they think at macro level, micro level. Where did this passion for like creating visual projects come from? Like where is your journey?
Okay, so it's just like they say, like, you have a desire to see yourself. And Leigh and I met in college, and we just both have this passion for us as Black people, us as queer people. And we just want to see ourselves. And I actually work for this company. I helped create this company, be a part of this company called From Me to You. And we made like earrings in Atlanta that basically it was like, everybody does it now, but it's like it had the images on there. We were one of the first people to do that. We were in several stores and all throughout Atlanta. Everywhere you would go, you see girls doing it. And that was so cool because Photoshop was my first storytelling piece, was Photoshop, was just being able to do that. And then Lay actually was into audio and videography, and watching her create and do things in the community of Castleberry in Atlanta, it was just so attractive. And it also helped a lot of brands in Atlanta. So Atlanta is our first base, and we helped and navigated a lot of lanes for brands there. So we moved to California, and I had been friends with Chaos, and I wondered, were there more lesbian rappers? I knew Saya, I knew Chaos, I knew a couple of other lesbian rappers that lived in Atlanta. We had taken pictures of them and whatnot. And then we came here, and I was like, yo, you know what would be cool? Like, yo, yo MTV Raps, if we had like a show that was just like that. And so I started collecting videos of people that I found online, getting interviews. Chaos started helping me, and that became Yo LGBT Raps, which is something that Chaos still runs for us now, and I occasionally do the news for with Sean. Then from there, we got on this whole quest of photography. Had the opportunity to intern with a great celebrity photographer, DeAndre Michael. Learned a lot from him, and it just became my want to just see queer people beautiful. And we just got on this whole thing of that's how we started meeting people. Like, yo, let me take your picture. Let's take pictures. Get pictures. Get pictures. From there, videos came, and most of my clients that I have, honestly, whether they're in health space or whatever, they're queer and they're women and they're Black mostly. And that's just, it's just important to me that I see myself and that I help myself in meeting other people that are like myself. So that's just always been the mission. I think that's Laylam's mission as well. And that's what Visual Monsters is about. We are a collective and we input separately as a whole, and it's dope. Visual Monsters is dope.
Hella dope, man. So you started in ATL, you and Lay, loving life. So what is it like, working with your partner? I think that's a conversation we've had on the show a couple of times, and people have been like, yeah, man, like it's hard, but some people are like, I so appreciate, my partner being my business partner and my best friend, to be able to, somebody who could really get up in that ass and tell you when you're right, tell you when you're wrong. But what are some of the maybe celebrations and challenges that you could share with our community about that experience?
It's tough, The tough part is, even though you're partners, you have your own individual ideas of how things can go. You want different things and you want similar things. So it becomes tough in that, especially when it comes to business. That's why it's important to take steps back, look at things, allow space to be creative on your own, allow the space to be creative together. And it's always dope to have that collaborative partner there or someone that you can just run it by. You do kind of bump ideas because you are experiencing a life together and you see similar things. So you kind of bump ideas a lot. But other than that, it's honestly awesome because it's a trust, and just to have that person and know your vision as well, and you try to know theirs as well. It's dope, even if it's hard. It's dope. That's my word, I guess. It's dope.
That's beautiful, man. That's beautiful. Thank you for being as transparent as possible about that. So, who came up with this name, like Visual Monsters? And why is that the way that y'all, choose to describe yourselves? And I appreciate it because even with some of the videos you do, it'll be a little "Arr" at the end. You know what I mean? To capture us. So yeah, who came up with the name and where does that come from? Where does that stem from?
That was Laylam. We were known as Odies. And that was some dumb shit that I came up with. I don't know if anyone, I'm a little older, but there was Garfield. Garfield had a friend named Odie. And if you look at his eyes, they look like titties. And I was like, yo, and we were young and in school. It was like, yeah, we Odies, we titties, whatever. And then we dropped that. Lay went on a stint where she had she was doing she was way ahead of the game. She was doing a interview TV style thing called Blase TV. And the next thing I know, she just started spitting on Visual Monsters. And it's just so sick, And she came up with that growl at the end, and I live for that. I love whenever I finish a project, editing wise, and I put that at the end, it's a stamp, you know what I mean? And it's yeah, she is definitely responsible for that, and it is a dope name. I have to ask her how she came up with it because I don't remember, but for sure, yeah, Lay rocked that.
Definitely. I'm gonna have to bring Lay on the show at some point as well to get the other side of the story, get the other side of the tea. But that's dope. As soon as I see the name, I think it draws you in and it makes you want to work with y'all. So tell me a little bit about your mind as a creative when it comes to projects, right? Because I think that what I've seen, and I come from a communications background as far as like getting my bachelor's, and it was like we had photographers, we had videographers, we had audio engineers. Everybody wanted to do something, right? And a lot of our professors used to tell us like it's all in the practice, right? Like you gonna make the mistakes, like you gonna delete that file, you gonna you gonna shoot that shot where somebody's head gonna be cut off, right? But the more you practice, the better you get. How do you sharpen your sword? How do you like keep yourself ready to shoot and to bring out these amazing images in folks?
I learned this word called autodidact. I think that's how you say it. They were talking about Abraham Lincoln. I was like, oh, that's me. I went to school for fashion design and marketing. I am far away from that. Someone showed me Photoshop, and I met Layla, and she showed me how to. We were renting equipment, and I was just watching her do things. So everything that I do, I'm self-taught. I used to be real guarded about showing people shit because I was like, do you know how much I've had to go through to learn this shit? You know? But now I'm more like, I like helping people. So when I create, I like to go for it. Like I just recently have been told a couple of times that Lay has always said I was a storyteller, but I ain't listen. I didn't know it was a storyteller. What is that? I didn't realize that through photography, through video, even music videos, that yes, I am. I'm a storyteller, and that's why my new passion, is screenwriting. It's only natural. I used to do it, but I come from an environment that I was told, no, you shouldn't do that. You can't make money doing that, and I allowed myself to believe that. So when I create, I just like to tell stories. A lot of times I'm just getting to a point where I'm telling my stories, but a lot of times I've been working with other people, which is also something I love to do. And just being able to create that story visually, it's a good feeling. I like Black people. I'm from the South. I experienced racism on high levels of, moving into communities, getting middle finger, seeing the Klan walk down my street.
What part
And
of the South can you tell?
I'm from South Carolina. And I was just, until I sought out people, I was ashamed of being Black. I guess that's why I'm so Black now. Because I wanted to be like those white girls because that was the thing, you know what I mean? So when I create, I just want to see me beautiful, Black people beautiful, queer, especially masculine queer, which is another thing that I had to go through, of course. I just want to see it beautiful. So when I create, especially if I create for other people, I just try to open my heart, my mind, and listen to what they want and deliver that. I love, love, love hearing people at the end saying, wow, you nailed it. You got exactly what I was saying. I don't think I did, but I kind of interpreted it enough for you to be like grateful and happy about it. As far as my own projects, same. I'm just listening to myself and creating the stories that I want to see, what I think is funny, because I know I'm not alone. And creating my own projects has been an interesting thing because I'm having to learn how to like trust myself and trust and not care about what people think and just trust that it is funny or it is touching. That's how I create. I know it's like rambling, but that's how I create.
Nah, man. I mean, I think it's so amazing to hear the process because when people hear this interview, right, like they're gonna hear you, but they're gonna see the visuals. And a lot of times we don't have a lot of record of the people behind the camera. We really don't. Like when you even look up a lot of famous photographers, there's not a lot of interviews. So I always want to hear the journey of what goes on in the brain because you are probably communicating with somebody else who is doubting themselves out there. You know what I'm saying? Who's feeling like, dang, like is anybody else, does anybody else create like this? Did anybody else not be able to go to like photography school and just taught themselves, right? Like people who are doing it right now. So I could see that fashion lens that you got. Because even when I shot with you, the positions you was trying to put me in, like, what you doing? And then the way you be popping up, we go out to events and you always got a popping outfit on. And I'm like, where you get that from? You like, oh, I made it, or just Ross, just something real simple, but it be banging. So
I appreciate that.
How do you think that particular view, right? Because what I think a lot about people who do image work, it's the view, right? Like it's the screen, it's what you see. How do you think your background as being more into marketing and fashion has guided you to be able to be this amazing visual monster?
I think I actually went to fashion school because a girl told me I would always dress her. I was just playing her closet. And she was like, yo, you should go to fashion school. And she just so happened to be going to school at Georgia State. So I went on, the little internet that we had back then at the library. And I was like, oh shit, this school let me just sign up. And I'm glad I did because it propelled me to where I am now, even with the hard shit. It brought me here. I would have possibly just been a club goer hanging out looking fresh in clothes instead of going through hard knocks and pursuing a dream. I'm very happy and content with pursuing my dreams, reached or not. I love what I do when I sit back and just think about it. And this is really awesome too, because it's making me think about it. I love what I do. I am proud of myself for doing what I was told I couldn't. And I'm even having that experience now because, you hit dry spells and when you really doubt what you're doing. Because, a lot of things that I was doing back when this is MySpace and da 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 and da da da, it didn't catch on. But now with the internet, you have this awesomeness everywhere. You have this awesomeness everywhere. And then you have people that are out there like Lena and Young and Saya, all these people putting those images out there. And I had given up in a sense. I know it might sound weird, but I did. But it just made everything all possible for me again. And I'm like, all of these stories and all of this stuff that I have, fuck that. I'm back. I'm balls in it again. And I'm really enjoying the craft. And I really do I don't like to call it the struggle because, yeah, I be struggling. But really, if you look at it as some fun shit, like I'm just being creative and being in my mind and just creative. And if this is the only way it gets on, so be it. But I love it. You know what I'm saying? I'm
Yeah.
just loving it again because of this renaissance of Blackness and Black queerness and just not being alone in my thoughts and just seeing that we are so much alike and there is an audience for me.
Yeah, that's so
Yeah.
beautiful. That's so beautiful. I think that the visibility that we have right now is so powerful. And, I was telling you offline, I consider you one of our historians, a person that's really able to document our experiences, our journeys, our bodies in these very beautiful ways. So, I hate to name drop, but I've seen you in a few pictures with Vivica A. Fox a couple of times. And I was wondering, how'd y'all meet? One. And then number two, like, how is it to work with like one of our, Black folks' top actresses in the world? Like, I would say one of my favorites. Like, how's it to work with?
Yeah. She's cool. How that went down is Layla's brother is actually a fashion designer and knows Vivica. And I'm trying to remember how it went down. Either way, Layla ended up doing some work for her, I think, and then we did her 50th birthday. She found out about photography, Layla doing photography, and Lay shot her 50th birthday. It was a collective of friends of photographers that she had do the 50th birthday, and then Lay was like, "Yeah, well, we could do the book for you." And then I came in and handle putting the book together for her, and we would just chill with her. And Vivica is Vivica. She's one of the most realest people that I've ever met. You just keeping it 100. I appreciate her she's always been able to like put us in rooms and opportunities that anxiety made me jack them up, but I won't be jacking those up anymore. And I appreciate her for doing that. She just really showed me, and I'm sure Lay too, just things that we want. It's not bad to want those things. And from there, that's how we met DeAndre, Michael, and our first shoot with him, we worked with him. We went to Capitol Records. We shot Mary J. Blige, MC Light, Angela Bassett, Lettucey, been Kim Kimball. We just had a lot of opportunities. And those two people, honestly, as far as my career and career goes, DeAndre Michael and Vivica Fox are top for me. Just letting me know and showing me the queer acceptance in the community that I didn't know, that there's a whole, entertainment is ran by queer people, period.
You better tell them. You
Straight
better
up,
tell them.
period.
Sure is.
And you can't just get there. I love that it wasn't just handed to me. It's still something that I'm working to. She treats us like homies. It ain't no handouts. It ain't no woe is me. It ain't none of that. It ain't because you know her, you get on. It don't work like that. But she's very supportive, and she always listens and gives us feedback. I had my screening for Anxiety Project, and she came, and I appreciated her coming, and I appreciated her feedback. So it's good to have that professional feedback. So, and that's how we know Vivica. She's a cool person, and there's several people in Vivica's life like that. I mean, that's just who she is. She's just a G like that.
That's what's up, man. I'm so cool. I'm so happy that I know a person who was sitting next to Angela Bassett and took her picture because I love her. That just made my day. I'm over here smiling, acting like I just met her and hugging myself. And Vivica too, like Auntie Vivica, like all the just the Black women in media that continue to hold space and to do what Black women do, which is be God and be amazing. Thank y'all for
Definitely.
all of those things. So Free, what I noticed is like the last probably like 2-3 years, you've been doing a lot more writing and a lot more conversations around mental health within your work. So I wanted to know if you could just speak to the audience a little bit about what that journey has been like. I consider your work healing, yes, humorous, but very healing as well. Are you intentional with that? Would you say you're a healer, or are you just
Yeah.
like, healing
It's
yourself along the way?
it's kind of self-serving. So I have been on a climb since 2014. My father is my best friend, and he passed away in 2014, and that shifted the life of me and my mother. But how do I say it? So around that time, my anxiety, which I'm from the South, I didn't know what the fuck anxiety was. My mama calls it the blues. It's just something you get over with. You get over it. You pray it
That's what
away.
my
You know what I'm
folks.
saying?
Yeah, that's what my folks call it too.
But I developed this severe anxiety, and Lay knew what it was, but I was in denial about it, which makes it even worse. You know what I mean? And it got so bad that I couldn't even drive a car. And on top of that, I was sick. I had I don't remember the name of it, but I had fibroid. But my fibroid was growing inside of my muscle wall. And this pain and this lifestyle of living with that for so long, combined with my dad dying, combined with having that problem, having surgery, I just felt really unsure about anything in life. I didn't think I would be able to run again. I couldn't drive a car. My anxiety was so bad. The panic attacks were off the wall. The insurance for the surgery was pussyfooting me around. So I'm being told that I need to have the surgery, but insurance wouldn't pay for it. And if you watch Anxiety Project, when he has a panic attack on the train, that is real for me. I had a panic attack on the train, and I like to say that is the moment that I started to start my journey towards healing. So everything I do is self-serving. I started reading books. I started trying meditation, even though it felt weird. After surgery, I never thought I would be able to. I run 2 miles. I never thought that I would be able to do that again because I was in so much pain. And it just didn't seem possible. I tried mantras. I even made a recording of myself saying mantras to myself, and I used that in Anxiety Project. Everything is fine. Everything is copacetic. Everything is fine. Everything is copacetic. I used that. So I heard this guy named Les Brown, and he had this speech about it's possible. And it just kind of shed the mental illness and just gave me the hope. And from there, I just kept reading and reading. And I realized that I just have to be honest about it. Hiding it was just making it worse. I was in pain. I was sitting in my room by myself, crying, dreaming of all the things that I'm doing now. It's so funny to talk about this because I was dreaming of these little things like they're so big. And now I'm like, this isn't big enough. I want bigger. But I was dreaming about those, and I just decided to be true to myself. So I'm putting that stuff in my stories because you're supposed to write what you know. Because I know those emotions, and I know I'm not the only person feeling those feelings and feeling those emotions. And I want you to know that you're not alone. Because when I was looking for these stories, they weren't there. There's white people talking about it, but I don't see a lot of Black people talking about it. I really could have used that. So yeah, I guess that's always been my mission, is just to put us out there, because you don't want to feel alone, because you know you're not alone, but you don't want to feel it. And seeing someone who looks like you, who may be experiencing something close to what you're feeling, it can change your perspective and your outlook on life, and it can give you hope. And hope is the key to everything. Just that little bitty seed of hope helps you. So yeah, I do intentionally put this stuff. I can't escape it now. It's just a part of me. It's a part of my healing as I continue to heal. And I don't want people to be ashamed of that. I want them to embrace that. It's how God made you. It's how the universe created you. It's who you are. It's your being. So you just have to go inward and embrace it and let it out. And if other people don't embrace it, that's it. Keep it moving.
Beautiful, man. I'm over here taking note and getting a little teary eyed.
I know, I was teary too. This is dope because I needed to hear myself talk. So I don't talk about myself, and I don't pat myself on the back. I don't think that what I do is as grand as people make it.
It
I'm always
is. It
told I'm
is.
talented. I'm
It's
always told that.
magical. It's magical.
I just gotta accept that it's cool what I do, and just be proud of it.
It is, man. I mean, the way that you make our bodies show up, right? Like the golden bronze feel that you give to our images, it's something that's nostalgic, right? Like I think that we all are aware, and when I say we, for the folks listening, I'm talking about Black folk. So if you uncomfortable with Black empowerment or anything, go on and click off now because we're about to go in. But I think that we're aware that we've been royalty. I think it's
Right.
something that is deep seated within us sometimes because there is also a lot of internal hate. And I think when I see your images and when other people see that, they are reminded of it instantly. And being
So,
reminded of that royalty and that beauty and that divineness is the healing, right? Like that is
yeah,
the power. That's sometimes the moment where where you talk about hope, where people don't give up when they're able to see that image of themselves. So
yeah.
thank you for all you do and for
Mm.
bringing it into the space. So before we tap into our next segment of the show, I wanted to ask you one more question about, your work and about the business. So, who's your ideal client? Like, what kind of folks do you like to work with, and how can they work with you if they wanted to? Like, if somebody wanted to set up and work with the visual monsters tomorrow, how do they do that?
We always, of course, we have grand, ideas, but we always seem to be connected to community. We always talk about indie artists and just being a platform for indie, queer, Black, if you fit into that realm, just to help you get your story out. I worked for free for a lot, but of course, I'm an adult and I need to take care of myself. So I appreciate it if you come to me with your budget. You did that, and I appreciated that. And I was able to help, bring forward your photos and things in that budget, and I appreciate that. It's just something that me and Lay, we always talk about. Like, we feel like we are here to help the community. We have our own separate desires, of course, but when we speak on like charity comes in a lot of different forms. And yeah, I do enjoy helping the community, especially when I meet a new artist and they're just so like, just, yeah, just people feel their own hype, and then you let me listen or you show me and I start to feel it. Yeah, I want to tell your story. So that's who we attract. Yeah, serving the community, that's basically what Visual Monsters loves to do. We like to get paid too. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah, I know. I
But
knew when
yeah.
I came to you, I better have my ducks in a row, because I'm telling you, I had that first meeting with you, and I felt, to be honest, I felt unprepared because you was asking me a lot of questions I hadn't thought about. This was like way back in the day when I had that piece about Obama that I
Oh
never
yeah.
put out because it was kind of heavy. Um, but
Yeah.
anyways, maybe I'll drop that. I might drop that coming up.
Sure, you
He
should.
ain't in office no more. I don't feel as bad. Um, but yeah, you were asking me all these questions, and it was my first treatment meeting, and I was just like, dang, like I was so amazed with your professional knowledge that I went back, I wrote down all that stuff, and I was like, I'm gonna have this together when I come to them
That's
the next
that's where I
time.
got it from. That's where I got it from. Lay, you know what I'm saying? Lay went to school for this, or being in different situations. That's how I learn, and that's how people learn. So I believe that every time that I'm always surrounded by creatives, and I believe that every time that they meet, you learn something. It's just how it is.
That's true. That's very true. So I know you ain't got a magic wand in front of you, but if you had one, or one of those little circular things where you could see the future, where would you say Visual Monsters will be in 10 years? Like, what's y'all goal?
10 years. I would hope that Visual Monsters is serving the community. Um, as individuals in Visual Monsters, I know what I'm gonna just keep it real. I want I want Lay to be on tour, Gaudy Glitch to be on tour, doing her music. Her music is awesome, and it's just so unique, and so it's ready for the world to hear. So I would definitely see that, her on tour, me checking up on her on tour, and I would be somewhere on set shooting and developing more projects, telling the stuff. And as Visual Monsters, we will be doing stuff for the community. That's just how I see things.
Yes, let's speak those manifestations together, y'all. I'm gonna drop actually Lay's Gaudy Glitch's music in the show notes. So if y'all get an opportunity, go down there and click. I'm gonna actually drop my favorite song, which is that head roll cut. And y'all need to get into it. I work out to it all the time. Shouts out to Gaudy Glitch for keeping it going and keeping us with the dope music. And shouts out to you for taking your dream of writing and bringing it to the screen. So for my final question for this segment, we got to screen Toxic at the Black Film Fest in January. We got an amazing turnout. People loved it. And this was not the finished product, right? Like, so thank you so much for letting us screen
Yeah.
your baby before it was like, ready for delivery. But like, what made you like shoot that, and where can we find more of this comedy? Like, when is it gonna come? Like, what's your plan for that? Because it was so amazing to see like a topic around the toxicity and masculinity, right? Like that I think that we often talk about, but for it to be played on in this very humorous way, but it still gave so much knowledge to the community. So it was just so powerful. So can you tell our community just a little bit about the idea around Toxic, and
Uh,
when you gonna
we
drop
don't.
it? Like, when it's gonna be official?
Yeah, I put it on my Instagram. I'm still working on trying to get it more places. Um, Toxic is, we laugh with our friends. We're funny. The things we do are funny. We so serious sometimes. Like, it's just mind boggling to me how serious we are as a community, but we've been forced to be that. And comedy is just a relief. All comedy is the truth. You know what I mean?
Very
So
true.
I just really wanted to focus on comedy in the way that me and my friends talk, and we shush it up. We talk raw like that, and we shush it up because we want to respect things. But I just think if we just laugh at ourselves sometimes, it'll just feel so much better and so much easier. And but it's out there. It's on my Instagram. You can find it on the Visual Monsters YouTube page. I've just entered into a couple of film festivals. I'm currently working on a show called The Cause. It's about a gay gang. It's also a comedy. And I also have a series, a 10 episode series called Bull that I'm looking to get funded and shoot sometime next year. Yeah.
Nice. So is the Bull one already written, or is it in writing? Writing
It
it now?
is. It's written, but I talked to Lex actually, and shout out to Lex too for always being supportive and giving up his knowledge. It can be better. So that's what we're doing. It's good. Anyone who reads it, they love it, they laugh. It can be better. I'm going to take my craft more serious. You know how you reach that point where you're educating yourself? That's what I've taken a step back to do, is just educate myself more, because I want it to be better and representative of the community. Quality is something that I always strive for. And all the things that we just talked about, that's the other thing. Quality gets respect. Quality gets respect. And that's something that I strive for as well. So, yeah.
Lit. So anything else you want to let the audience know? Any tips about, our young folks coming up, or even our older folks, right? Because we got folks that just got laid off and they might be like, you know what, that camera in there, I've been saying I'm going to get to that for a while. Any tips you would give folks before we head into Boy Talking Hop?
I'm 42. This is your journey. You know, I look at people like, what, Ava didn't pick up a camera until she was 38. I was around the same age. So I'm on the right path. You can be too. It's never too late. Passion is passion. And if it makes you feel good, it makes you feel good. Do it. People gonna say no because they can't do it and they too afraid to do it. Fear is our obstacle. And on the other side of that, it's gotta be something desirable. So go for it. Why not? You got nothing to lose.
Beautiful. So our next topic is Boy Talking Hop, and this is kind of like a fill in the blank kind of segment for us. So I'm gonna ask you a question, and you just gonna fill in the blank, whatever comes to your mind first. Sound good?
Okay.
Okay, cool. So it'll go something like, I'll be like, music is, and you could be like, music is dope, because you've been using dope a lot. So I'm keeping with the tone.
Oh yeah, okay.
All right. So your favorite book is
Fly Girl by Omar Tyree.
Nice. Music is
Flowing.
Love is
Unappreciated.
Wellness is
Essential.
Ownership is
Key.
Money is
Fake.
If you could spend a day with anyone, dead or alive, who would it be and what would you do?
And he just put me up. My mom. And I would just ask her if she was proud of me.
You know she is, bro. You already know it. I say to her for bringing in such an amazing being.
Appreciate it.
And dead money. What about sex? Sex is
Sex is energy.
And last but never least, free is
divine.
I shaded that. You sure are, man. Thank you so much for this space and for this time. I really appreciate being able to just tap into your brain.
Now this is Free, aka Freelance FL, and I am born obviously incredible.
Thanks for listening to Boy Meets Wellness. Stay connected on and off the show by following us online at BOI Meets Wellness. That's boy with an I. Until next time, go be incredible.